Nobody likes to hear bickering.
The last thing I said
What
was...
are you talking about? Everybody loves to hear bickering. Big Brother is one of the most popular TV shows. EastEnders is one of the most popular TV shows, and all it is people bickering.
I don't watch either of them.
Yeah, because you're not popular.
You watch... John, you watch the Politics channel, which is basically people bickering under the flag of blue or red. And occasionally you hear this little yellow flag pop up, and someone goes, "We've got an opinion too." And then the other two parties go, "Shut up, Lib Dems, go away." And then the Green Party turn up in Brighton, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, really?" Hi, I'm John, and my wife is forcibly going to America because of the NHS.
And I'm John, and I've got a 100% bear attack success rate.
You attack bears now?
No.
That's what it sounded like.
And I'm not John, and this is Would John Not John Someone Rather. And at this point, we ask questions and things happen. I don't know. John, what's going on?
What's
Cheer
going
up.
on is I'm now Lord and Master of this podcast. We've changed the format so the winner of the questions gets to ask the questions next week. So my reign of tyranny shall begin.
So
I'm going
what
to
you're
ask those two would you rather questions, and much to Matt's disgust, he's going to goddamn answer my questions.
So we're now a podcast where two people called John sometimes answer would you rather questions some of the time, but other times someone who's not called John also answers those questions. I hope that explains it.
So I will get in touch with the media developers for our site and get them to change the media to would John or would not John, sometimes rather or not rather, depending on what's happened in the previous week.
I think that would be a catchy line. I think people would understand
I think it's
it.
straight to the point.
Open parentheses, why am I doing this for free? Close parentheses.
Hashtag, why did I agree to this? Right.
Anyway, let's dive right in.
It said every week. No, I was going to say let's jump right in. I was going to steal it from you. I was going to take the last remaining thing that you had left.
No.
Let's dive right in.
Right, let's dive right in. Would you rather be married to a Spice Girl or be adopted by Bono?
Which Spice Girl? Married to a Spice Girl, either way.
A Spice Girl, you get to pick.
I get to
That's
pick.
the only saving grace.
Oh, 100% married to a Spice Girl.
Would you like to elaborate, as the format of the podcast does dictate?
No, because we've changed the format, so I'm now going to answer. I'm going to let John, due to the format, have to explain his reasonings, and then I will explain mine. His reasonings won't change mine.
So you hope.
We'll see. Go on, John.
Why do you want to be adopted by Bono?
Dive right in.
Well, I'd rather be adopted by Bono so that I can go to an island with him and him say, "I'm saving it for the starving children." And I'll say, well, as your adopted starving son, can I please have your chest of food?
Right, okay. That's very, very specific. You're not going to talk about Uncle Edge or anything like that?
Is the island in the Pacific Ocean? Ha ha ha.
No.
Right. The question everyone else is begging right now is which Spice Girl would it be?
I mean, there's so many options. I mean,
4 of them.
Well, all of them.
3
All
if
of
you
them.
kick out Ginger one because she quit.
She did quit, but she was jumping the boat before it was starting to sink. The Spice Girls did what not too many bands like to do, and they had 2 albums that were literally the only thing that anyone could talk about in the music industry at that time. And then they just decided to stop. How many bands do we like in our preferred music genre? that release 2 albums and then choose to stop. Normally, someone's had an argument with someone, someone's hit someone, someone's died, someone's unfortunately killed themselves. It's a very rare thing for a band to go, we've done 2 albums and we're done. I know they had more than 2 albums.
I'll do you one better. Death Above 1979 formed. They did 1 album and went, that's all we're doing, and then stopped. The fact there is such a strong demand all these years on from them doing that 1 album, asked them to do an anniversary tour. So they did an anniversary tour, and they were like, so many people still love us that it convinced them to do 2 more albums more recently. But there was a 10-year gap where they went, we've done it, we're leaving it now. They've done their own things, they did their own side projects, and the public and the media brought them back to it because there was a demand, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, growing up, I had a life-size Spice Girls poster on my wall.
Must have been really scary at night, waking up with 5 figures looming over you.
No, it wasn't just scary. There was Sporty, there was Baby, there was Ginger, and there was Posh. But, I mean, my favourite was Baby Spice.
I haven't answered the question.
Yeah,
Baby Spice.
I will get there. My favourite was Baby Spice. I don't think it'd be Baby Spice. It'd be very...
Not marriage material.
No.
Too mature.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Jerry. I would like to have been there to support her through her solo career.
And breast enlargements.
Well, she probably wouldn't need support.
She's already married.
Well, a lot of them are. I mean, that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Posh.
2 of them are married. One of them has been divorced twice.
Right, okay. We need to introduce a rule where you can't Google the subject matter anymore, because when it comes to pop culture, John has a weakness, and his weakness is Wikipedia.
Right. Finally,
I would
Baby Spice. Tell me more.
I would lean towards Victoria Beckham.
Because of her sparkling personality and her really angelic singing voice.
No,
I definitely know that she's married.
No, because she's the worst one, in my opinion. She didn't contribute much.
So that's why you deserve her.
She didn't contribute lyrically that much to any of the albums. But if we're talking about 2018, she's married to David Beckham. So I'm going to get half of what he's got because she's going to get half of what he's got.
So you're
this
going to
is
get
all
1/4 of David Beckham's wealth.
Yeah, and that's a lot more. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Right, so someone who's good at fractions, which is not me, work out what is 1/4 of 3 children, and then you get that as well.
I'll be a stepdad.
Sorry?
I'll be a stepdad. I can deal with that for 1/4 of David Beckham's wealth.
That's not bad. I can see the logic in that. So, I need more reasons apart from Bono's Desert Island that you want to be adopted by before I can make a logical decision.
Well, I really want to be adopted by Bono because I think
Bono!
I think that I would be more inspiring to him, and then he could write some better music for his band, which I think I've heard of.
Come on. Don't disappoint. Without using Wikipedia, using your pop culture knowledge, name Bono's band.
Oh, come on, John. This isn't even like pop culture. This is just osmosis.
Well, I know who Bono is.
How do you not know his band?
I do know his band.
Then why are you not saying it?
Don't want to say it out loud.
Well, I don't want to.
Because if I say it out loud,
dignify them.
No.
Because then the edge will come through the mirror and pull me in.
I just don't like you two. Okay. Just don't like them.
Yeah. Well, we don't like you either. But that's not the point. What's the name of Bono's band?
No one knows.
Say it, bitch. Say it.
No.
Oh, okay. So Bono's now got you as an ungrateful stepson.
I think you will find. Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but I'm going to. An ungrateful stepson is called a stepson.
Oh. Hey, isn't that all three of us?
No, not me. Not anymore.
True. So, I'm trying to look for answers, John, and just being useless.
Well, I just don't like Bono, okay? I don't like him, and I don't want to be adopted by him, but by the logic of this show, I have to be adopted by him. So, you know, I'm really struggling.
Yeah, the problem
Christmas is going to be awkward around your place.
That as soon as you said Spice Girls, whatever it was, I was going to go for. And
actually, I just figured it out. I want to be adopted by Bono so that I can be an ungrateful stepson and just make his life a misery.
Oh, John, that is incredibly churlish. I could imagine you doing that.
But do you
Christmas morning, everyone gets down, and you go, "Oh, how come Joseph gets Hulk hands and I get a wallet?"
But do you really think you're going to be more needy? Do you really think you're going to be more needy than the African children that he's been working for his entire life? I don't think you're going to, because I can see how these are going to go, because that's a very good point, but you're really not going to, like, phase him from being him.
No, but somebody who's genuinely needy, like genuinely...
What, you mean as opposed to the starving African children
that's
that are just feigning in the neediness, John? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's the exact opposite of what I'm saying.
Like, I'm going to be genuinely needy, but those African starving children are
stop
not...
talking over me.
You wanted me in the ring, fucking deal with it, but... Okay, please continue.
Let John finish being a whingy bitch. Just let him finish.
What I was going to say was that if someone is genuinely needy, like the starving children of Africa, then they're generally quite grateful. So I'm going to be that ungrateful person. So yeah, I think I'll be worse than the African children, a lot worse, because I won't actually need lots of food. What I'll need is some fucking attention from my uncaring stepfather Bono.
You always need lots of food.
You do, that's true.
Are you saying that, just to clarify, that Bono is clearly just looking for validation? It's got nothing to do with anything else. It's just validation that he's after.
Is he, John? Is he? Does he see something in you? Does he see a young Bono in you that he's trying to nurture and bring out the best of? Because let's face it, he's still not found what he's looking for, so that might be in you as well. Okay, I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna call the winner as being married to a Spice Girl, because even if Victoria Beckham has to get divorced from David, I said married to a Spice Girl and not Ric Flair. It's much better than being a whingy, needy little bitch and trying to make Bono's life miserable. Because there was an old joke that says, "What's the difference between Bono and God?"
God doesn't walk around Dublin claiming he's
Bono.
Claiming he's Bono.
Yeah.
If you want to be my stepson,
you got to get with the edge.
Something like that. Anyway.
Something like that. Okay. 1-0 Matt. Well done.
Not John wins.
Yay! Okay, so this is the point in the show where we announce our Twitters, and John thinks of an even more obscure way for you to reach him. Let's contacting you?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, how are we contacting you this week?
I'd like to be contacted via semaphore flags.
And where should we semaphore the flags in the direction of?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You'll see everywhere.
Yeah, I'll find them.
Okay. If you actually want to contact him in this century, he is John Would Rather on Twitter. I'm also John Would Rather, but I don't have any H's because I actually believe they're slightly communist. I'm trying to distance myself these days. You know, it's just personal preference. I'm open to all things, but not to H's this week.
Or any week.
I am still the host of this show, but apparently it's going to take some getting used to being the host and not asking the questions. But the main Twitter is Would Jay Rather. It's Would Jay Rather, and I've recently learned, because I don't watch the news because I think it's depressing, but apparently some Russians poisoned someone. So tweet at me your opinions about that, because I won't understand.
Brilliant.
This actually might go hand in hand with my next question. From many episodes ago, we coined a term for a a communist leader. So my next question is: would you rather go sailing with Uncle Joe Stalin or be stuck on a delayed train with Donald Trump?
What was the first option?
Go sledding.
The first option is
go sledding.
No, go sailing with Uncle Joe Stalin.
I would rather go sailing with Uncle Joe Stalin.
And what am I doing with Trump?
You're stuck on a delayed train with him.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'd have picked anyway. So good.
I thought the US would have gone up in flames by now. So
yeah, I thought there would have been.
Can't be doing that bad.
I thought there would have been at least 1 or 2 assassination attempts, and that's not because I got anything against Trump. Like, it's the same as anyone. You've got your opinions, and I respect it. We might disagree, however, he's in one of the greatest positions of power on the planet, and you have to be careful when you express them. He doesn't seem to have that filter in the same way that old people have forgotten that racism doesn't exist anymore. And I just want to have a chat with him and just figure out whether it is that old filter or whether he is a Nazi. That's my curiosity for wanting to spend a bit of time with him. And a delayed train. He might have been getting off at the next stop. Train's delayed. Nah, no chance.
But he's now a captive audience with you.
Yeah, and I imagine that he'd do the same as the midnight train back that we used to get after a gig from London back to Huntingdon. The drunk person who everyone on the train has to listen to what they're saying. He'd make sure everyone could hear. We don't get that kind of option now that he's in office. Everything he says is very strictly monitored and.
No, it's not.
Well, monitors the
Gonna
wrong
build
word,
a wall. Make Mexico pay for it.
not monitored but recorded. Whereas he could have said the same similar things 2 days before, maybe it wouldn't have been noticed because he wasn't the president. So maybe he's just getting a bad rap. I want to hear his story. I want to hear Trump between the ferns.
I think all we've heard is his side of the story for the past 2 years. I would much rather go sailing with Joseph Stalin because the first reason is not really anything to do with either personalities, is that being stuck on a train that's delayed is boring as hell. Whereas, going sailing sounds quite interesting. We might go somewhere nice. We might end up on the coast of Croatia, go see some of the islands. And, while we're there, he might have a purge of several million people. But, get to see the world.
It's not a destination, it's the journey.
Yeah, and if that's exactly it. If you're on a delayed train, you're not really having much of a journey. You're just delayed.
And there's nothing like being on a sailboat watching tens of thousands of people burn to death.
Yeah, also, you might see some interesting wildlife. You might see some dolphins or some sharks. Or, if you're lucky, you might see some whales.
Whales diving out of the ocean going, "What have you done?"
Yeah, wouldn't that would be quite a sight. And, it'd be also nice to get to know Uncle Joe. I think his name Stalin actually translates to man of steel. So hopefully he would live up to that name, and he'd be
Superman.
Yeah, hopefully he'd live up to that, and he'd be good.
Well, he's capable of doing things that other men just aren't.
Yeah, he is that. And hopefully he'd also be capable of doing the rigging and that sort of thing, because I'm probably not capable of doing that.
He's a Russian, so he's a man's man. He's
Yeah,
probably doing manly things for the dawn of time.
all I'm hearing on this is that John wants to go sailing and do none of the work that comes with going sailing. Like,
Yeah, that's communism.
No,
Joseph Stalin would be all for it.
No, that is not communism, because he's giving 100% of what is to offer, and you're offering nothing. What are you giving to equal the fact that he's bought a boat and doing all of the work? Because it's not your personality. We've got 20 episodes to prove that.
I mean, it was satire.
Ah, so he was making a joke to prove that his argument is not as correct as mine was. So, not John wins.
Hold on, so when you're playing 20 questions with Donald Trump to get to know the real man, what would you open up with?
What's your hair made of? No.
It wouldn't matter, because whatever you asked him, he'd get distracted and talk about something else.
He does do that.
Yeah, but the difference is he gets distracted and talks about something else. Stalin gets distracted and burns someone else.
Well,
Did he do that much burning?
At least if we were at sea, it would be in a good place to deal with being burnt. Lots of water.
That is true.
Yeah, John wins.
No, I mean, long story short, based on the history of what they've actually done to people, humanity, and the country, we don't like Trump, but compared to Stalin, he's literally really not done anything that bad.
He's also not really done anything that good either. But Trump recently said that he was the best president there had ever been.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, he was playing his trump card.
Right.
Quit Stalin and come up with a proper argument.
I mean, I've got nothing more to say on the matter. I mean, Trump's not a... Well, he's not Stalin.
Okay, well, you're going to sit on the train and you're just going to ask Donald Trump 20 questions. Fine. Does it feel like you're going to get that much out of it that you couldn't get on Wikipedia? I'd have challenged him to a fucking arm wrestle. I'd have done something ridiculous or possibly caused a security scare. Whereas John's going to go see the world. You know,
no. Wait.
He's not too pleased with his company, but he's going to go somewhere.
Wait a sec. Wait. You're before you make a decision.
I've already formed my decision.
No, but before you make the decision, it sounds like you're basing a decision on the method of transport that you'd assigned to the person. If we're arguing trains against boats, then that's a different story.
Welcome to the other side.
Welcome to the other side of the coin, Matt.
But
I've just said that your argument wasn't good enough because I'd have done something else, and John's making the best of what it is. Yes, his company isn't great, but he's going to ignore that and he's going to go and sail and have a nice day. Because I disagree with you, you're getting a shitty on.
No, not because you're
yes,
disagreeing with me. No,
John
because
wins.
I am.
John wins. John wins. Right. Third and final question. We'll try and make this one quick because I think that one was a bit drawn out. Right. Okay. This could be interesting. This could be not interesting.
Well, go on.
Hold on. Right. Would you rather be an extra on all of the Lord of the Rings films or star in Sharknado?
What sort of extra?
One that's got to spend next 4 years or whatever it was in New Zealand with no speaking parts and standing in a field.
Oh, I'll definitely be an extra in New Zealand then.
Then I'll be the star of Sharknado. But twist, I'm going to be the shark.
There are loads of sharks in Sharknado, so you'd have to be all of the sharks.
No, I'm the shark.
You are. No, it's not Jaws. It is Sharknado. It's like snakes on a plane. There wasn't one snake to rule them all.
I'd rather be an extra in all of the Lord of the Rings films
Even though you don't like Lord of the Rings,
I've got nothing against Lord of the Rings.
you'd rather you just want to.
Whoa. The phrase "I've got nothing against Lord of the Rings" doesn't appear in my vernacular. Either you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, or you're a charlatan.
I liked Lord of the Rings before it was cool.
I mean, what, before he wrote it?
Obviously.
No, before it was a film.
Did you? Have you read them?
Yeah, I read them as a kid.
Okay, so you liked Lord of the Rings before it was cool. Do you think you'd be a good orc as an extra?
I think I could be a passable orc. They've got excellent makeup in Lord of the Rings. By the time they got round to the second and third film, they had a pretty big budget, and I think I could pass as an orc. Yes,
with a big budget of several million, they could actually make you look scary.
Well, I mean that's up to them, really.
You're not quite an Uruk-hai, though, are you?
He's not. No, bless John, he's not. He'd be like a handmade elf.
I mean, for me, John's more of a Galadriel than an orc.
God, here we go. Nerd.
No, she's one of the main characters. Not only in the Lord of the Rings, but also the Second Age.
Isn't that like the teenage years of Middle-earth?
Yes.
Where everyone's a bit angsty and they can't really express how they feel.
Yeah.
Good.
Right, so Matt, you are the one shark to rule them all. What shark would you be? What type? Bear in mind, I'm the one who wanted to be a marine biologist when I grew up, and that never happened because I was gash at biology. But I really like sharks still.
Well, luckily for me, John, you never became a marine biologist, so prove me wrong. I would be the Sharknado.
Right.
I just want to spend several years bumming around in New Zealand. It's a really nice country.
Yeah, but no, I was about to say that's not Middle Earth, but the question wasn't would you rather be a hobbit? It would be. So as long as you stay away from the coast where I'm gonna chomp you, then you're probably gonna be alright.
So you are going to be a tornado made of sharks.
No, I'm going to be a shark tornado.
The Sharknado is a tornado full of sharks.
Yeah.
Are you aware the premise of the film?
There
was a typhoon going over us, breeding sharks.
I never agreed to that preface. I agreed to be a Sharknado, and as far as I'm concerned, I am a giant shark the size of a tornado that goes up to the clouds that spins in a circle. I don't have to be lots of tiny sharks spinning around because of wind. I could just be one giant shark spinning around.
Dude, the film has already been made, and the format has already been set, and there's already been 3 or 4 sequels to it, equally as dreadful as the first. You can't decide.
I'm trying to make it better.
The whole sequence of films.
You never specified.
Saga of Sharknado is of the premise that there is a tornado that sucks loads of sharks up. You can't be like a house-sized shark that rains other sharks down on people.
You didn't specify.
You should make your own film up.
You didn't specify. You said that I am the Sharknado.
No, I said star in Sharknado.
Oh yeah.
I didn't say, oh Matt, did you want to star in Jaws? And you'd be like, yeah, I want to star in Jaws. I want to be the lifeguard.
Okay, so I am a star of the film Sharknado, not I get to be a Sharknado.
No.
Okay, right, I'm with you. Yeah, I'll
edit this whole section out.
No, that's staying in. I will be star of Sharknado. Who's the star of Sharknado?
You.
Me.
Yes.
What? But
you do the thing with the sharks and the explosions and running away.
No.
That's what you do.
No. You can't have it both ways. You just said that it already exists, and if it already exists, then I need to know who I'm replacing to be that person.
Right, I'm not going on Wikipedia to find out, because that's apparently cheating in the new rules of Would John Rather 2.0.
Okay, so I'm just the main character.
Yes, that I'm definitely not going on IMDb for. right now.
Okay, then that's fine. But then I'll be him or her. I'll sling on a skirt for fame and money because they've made 5 of them. So, fuck it, why not?
Do you know what the most recent Sharknado film is called? This is for like bonus points.
Oh, I do as well, and it's really pissing me off that I don't know it off the hand. I've seen it. It's really bad. It's like a pun. Because there was Sharknado, Sharknado 2, Sharknado 3D. I'm sure it was like Sharknado 4D, and then there was something else.
Do you want me to put you out of misery?
Can you give us a clue? John, have you got any ideas?
As if he's going to know.
Ideas about sharks or just generally?
No, ideas for like Sharknado pun films, because I'm assuming it's a pun.
It's in the same format as Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. It's the last Sharknado. It's about time.
What number's that?
There's Sharknado, Sharknado 2, the second one, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, Sharknado 4, the fourth awakens, Sharknado 5,
Global swarming.
Sharknado, the last Sharknado, it's about time. There we go. That's IMDb used. The main person is a guy called Finn.
Of course.
Of course. It's either that or Bruce.
The main character Sharknado, because there's been so many sequels, and being the main star of something mediocre is better than being a non-named person in a film that is AAA. Because too many people can be background stars these days. Hollyoaks is recorded around here, and they're constantly looking for people to just walk through the back of the scene. I wouldn't boast about being in that.
But Lord of the Rings is a little bit better than Hollyoaks.
It is, but if you're not mentioned on the credits, what's the point in being there?
Yeah, John. What's your argument to the not being on the credits thing?
Well, I think even as an extra, it depends what kind of extra you were. But actually, if you were one of those, if you were an extra that, if you hung around enough, they might, and you were in all the films and in a few of the scenes, they might teach you to sword fight. If you had to be in one of the extras in one of the big battle scenes, that's the kind of skills that is going to stay with you for life.
No, that's the kind of skills that they hire people for. They're not just going to take pity on someone and go, oh, this guy's been here a little while. Do you know what he needs? 6 months training so he can be in this one tiny scene where we don't have to pay him.
Having had a tour around Hobbiton, I learned a lot of stuff about
hobbits.
Hobbits
aren't really the biggest warriors.
No, what I was going to say is that Peter Jackson was the staff.
What was a hobbit?
The staff on the Lord of the Rings films thought he was a bit of a dick because he was an absolute perfectionist, to the point where they sort of said that they made some model trees and he didn't like the colour of the trees, so he made them take every single leaf off the tree, paint them a slightly different hue, and then put them back up. So, I think he would take the time. If one of his extras was, and let's put this beyond doubt, because the question was, would you rather be an extra? I'm already an extra. I don't have to audition. If I wasn't sword fighting up to standard, he's gonna say, you know what, we're going to come back to this scene in 6 months when you're up to standard. They're going to spend 6 months training me to sword fight. And, those are the kind of skills that are going to stay with you forever. And
you're an extra. You're not a part, you're an extra.
What he's saying is the director is such a perfectionist that if he happens to like John's high elfish cheekbones, then he was going to use them.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. Like I said, this is the guy who literally made them take every single leaf off a tree and paint it and put them back on the. He's gonna take notice of my sword fighting.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna offer a deal, John.
Mhm.
You no, Pretty John.
Oh, that cut deep.
Pretty John. You have the high cheekbones of a shark-like man, and
You can't swap. No. Right, I'm putting my foot down. Look.
No.
yeah,
How many episodes did I rate that I got stuck with something shit, and I didn't once genuinely try and strike a bargain?
did you ever think to try and strike a bargain?
Yes, but I know you would have come down with like a ton of bricks. You'd have been like, "No, I'm the Lord Almighty. This is
I
my
would.
You do what I say."
I would have loved your vision.
The reason I'm going to say
Sometimes it's
no
like
to
singing
the
the wind
deal.
with you, man.
One of the reasons I'm going to say no to this deal is because the only reason that he wants to do a deal is because my option is better.
No, I don't think it's better. I just think because it's comparing a AAA film to the lowest form of media. Like, Sharknado wasn't a bad film, but it was a bad franchise. Like, one-off, fine. Yep, golden. If there was only ever the one Sharknado film, I know I'd have got this. But the fact that it was a franchise, I know that I can't because they've milked it. That's how I feel.
I think they did more Lord of the Rings films than they have done Sharknado films.
No, but you just told me that there's 5 and they're about to release a 6th, and there's the first 2 Lord of the Rings films, there's the 3 Hobbit films, that's it, there's 6, and they're about to release the 6th Sharknado film, that's 6.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
6 of each.
That's 6 films based on like actual good literature, not a couple of guys that have got high in a film studio and been allowed the fucking science to replicate a leaf blower in the back direction and tape on a couple of goldfish.
Sounds like you've got issues, mate. At least I found ways to get angry and to try and motivate myself to fight for a corner I didn't believe in. But you've dismantled your own franchise.
I've never seen Sharknado.
I watched all of the Lord of the Ring films on one flight
To New Zealand.
to New Zealand. That's how dedicated I was to becoming an extra. I was willing to watch the films full. I've been John, and this has been awesome.
Yay! I've been John, and I've not thought of an outro because I'm too busy playing with my son's toys.
And I'm not John, and despite losing this week, it's been quite enjoyable. So I look forward to the John
Losing again next week.
Wow.
Yay!
Hey John, go fuck
Yeah?
yourself. And that's what I like about them both having the same name. Ta-ra, folks.
All the best.
Cheerio.
Should we just record the exit, and then I'll fix it.
Are you tired, Matt?
Oh, I'm so tired, mate. Yeah.
You have hopes and dreams? Boom, they're now in flames.
Oh.